Join me in this Garmin inReach mini tutorial and I will show you everything you need to know about the Garmin inReach Mini 2. I'm going to take you through everything from setting it up to how you set up messages, how you contact search and rescue, how you even set that test up with the IERCC. I'm going to show you about how to message, how to navigate, how to track back, how to get weather forecasts. By the time you finish with this tutorial, you're going to be really qualified to go out and be safe in your next outdoor adventure. So take a look at the chapters below in the description. You'll also see them on the timeline. And so if there's something particular you want to see, such as TracBack, then go to that, get your information. Or if you know nothing about the Mini 2, watch the whole thing from beginning to end. Well, let's get back in the office and I want to show you how to set up a Mini 2 for the very first time.
What I want to go over today with you is how you actually set up your Mini 2. I'm not going to go over every single part of when you open the box and then you turn the device on. It's going to ask you what your language is, and it'll just go step by step through how you set up this device. And then it's going to get you connected to the Wi-Fi, and it's going to connect you to your Explorer.Garmin page. And so it's actually a simple process. What I really want to show you is once you actually get that set up, and if you have any questions, leave a comment below because it's really not hard. But if you have issues with the setup, I would actually say contact Garmin first. Once you get into the Explorer.Garmin page, there's several things across the top, from home, map, plans and devices, and contacts, messages, MapShare, and account. One of the things it's going to ask you to do right away is to pick a subscription, and I think you can skip that and then come back later. And if you have questions about subscriptions, about what subscription to get and how to save money on subscriptions, I've got a video for you to watch right here and in the description below, and I'll help walk you through how you can choose the right one for you and save money. Well, once you have your subscription selected or not, you may have skipped that. You go to your account page and just make sure everything is set up correctly, from your phone number, your address, and I think it's going to, of course, want your credit card information for your subscription. But this is also where you can select your emergency contacts, and I've got several in here, and then you can select whether you want the search and rescue insurance. Once you do that, I would make sure you have your contacts set up, and these contacts are people that you want to be able to send messages to. It's actually going to be a lot faster. Now, you can have more people than this, but these are the critical people that you want to message more often. Next is the messages, and I would go and get this set up. And you can do check-in messages, and I've got 3. You can change it. You can customize what it says. And then I've got quick text messages, and I want to say you can have up to about 30. This is where I'd be more careful on these quick texts and pick things that you would naturally say. And don't forget to pick messages such as, I'm at this location, give me a minute, yes, no. Pick things that when you can scroll up and down on the Mini 2 or the GPS Map 67i and you can just select that message rather than typing it, it can save you a lot of time. After that, go to the MapShare page, and I want to make sure you really understand this. You can share your MapShare page by email with family and friends, and there's different settings on here that you want to make sure you go through, because you can put in your name and the description, and also you can say allow map viewers to locate you, allow them to message you. You want to make sure that people can message you, at least your important family and friends. If you're sharing your location to all of your subscribers and you have 100,000 subscribers, well, then you wouldn't want them to be able to message you. Make sure this is set up, and I also want you to talk to your family and friends that you share this with, and also confirm that they understand when they get that link what it leads to, how they can message you and initiate a message to you, how they can see your map location. This MapShare link is super critical because if somebody wants to initiate a message to you, they have to go through the MapShare page. If you message them ahead of time, then all they have to do is respond to that message and then they can talk to you. But if they want to initiate the message, they have to go through the MapShare link. Well, most of your questions can be answered by you just going through and looking at all the different options, selecting them. If you have questions, then contact Garmin. I'll do my best to answer you on your questions, but when you're setting this up, I would highly recommend that you start with Garmin to make sure that it's set up properly and get the expert opinion.
There have been some major changes to the Garmin inReach subscription plans, and I want to tell you about those today and how to save money with these subscriptions. The very first thing is that there is no annual subscriptions anymore. It's all month to month. There is an activation fee, but there's no annual fee anymore. There used to be another way to save money, and that was if you used your device all year long or a lot, you would have an annual fee that would save you money over a monthly fee, but that is now gone. Everybody just has the monthly plan, but there are 4 subscription plans. It's the enabled, the essential, the standard, and the premium. Before I really get into those plans very much, I just want to let you know that you are never penalized for switching back and forth between subscription plans based on your needs. Now, most of us aren't going to do this, but you could switch back and forth every week if you wanted to. What happens is if you go from an expensive plan to a less expensive plan, then you get charged for, say, the essential plan at $14.99, but then you get a credit and it's prorated. So you'll have the initial charge, but at the end of the month at the billing cycle, then if you have a credit, then it gets taken care of there. So this is how you save money with subscriptions. If you're going to go out like I am next week for a week-long trip and I want to have unlimited tracking and texting, then I'm going to go with the premium plan. But after that, say if I'm not out a lot, which you guys know I'm out a lot videoing, so I stick with the premium plan all year long. But if I weren't going to be using it for a month or two, I could switch to either the standard plan or the essential plan, or I could go to the enabled plan. Now that enabled plan is only $7.99 a month, but you only get S.O.S for free. I was talking to Garmin, and because of things like these hurricanes, they want people to be able to have access to their device if there's an emergency. I also want to make something really clear because I had misunderstood something. I thought my Mini 2 and 67i, because they have access to the Messenger app, that I could photo share or voice message with that Messenger app with these devices. That is not true. You can only share photos and voice messages with the Garmin inReach Messenger Plus. Now that may change someday, but as of today, that's the case. The big thing I really wanted to bring up today was the changes to the subscription plans, but that you can still save money by switching back and forth whenever you want between the plans. Well, I want to tell you about each plan really quick, the cost and what's on them, and I'm going to do some reading. I'm sorry, I haven't memorized it, nor do I want to waste what little brain power I have left in life to actually memorize all of that. All right, so here it goes. The cheapest plan, the enabled plan, is $7.99 a month. You get unlimited S.O.S and messaging with Garmin Response. It's 10 cents in the US for check-in messages or reaction, and 10 cents per tracking point. It's 50 cents per text message or weather forecast. And it's $1 for photo or voice messaging, but remember that's only if you have the Garmin inReach Messenger Plus. The inReach Essential Plan is $14.99 per month, and it has unlimited S.O.S and messaging with Garmin Response. Unlimited check-in messages and reactions. 10 cents per tracking point, 50 text messages or weather forecast per month, 10 photo or voice messages per month if it applies because of the device you have. The overages are 50 cents per text message or weather forecast and $1 per photo or voice message. The inReach standard plan is $29.99 per month, and you get unlimited S.O.S and messaging from Garmin Response, unlimited check-in messages and reactions, unlimited 10-minute tracking, 150 text messages or weather forecast per month, and 25 photo or voice messages per month. The overages are 50 cents per text message or weather forecast and $1 per photo or voice message. Lastly is the inReach Premium at $49.99, and you get unlimited S.O.S and messaging with Garmin Response, unlimited check-in messages and reactions, unlimited 2-minute tracking, unlimited text messages and weather forecasts, and 50 photo or voice messages per month if you have the Garmin inReach Messenger Plus. You're probably sick of me saying that right now. The overages are $1 per photo or voice message. There may be something I've left out here, but you can contact me and ask me the questions or call Garmin directly and talk to them. Just be aware there's been some changes, but there's still ways to save money, and I really want to drive that home. Take the opportunity to switch back and forth between plans to save money. How do you schedule a test with the IERCC so you can see if the S.O.S really works? It's actually really simple, and I've done this many times, and the first time kind of bugged me because I saw that countdown going from, I think, 15 or 20 down to 0, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Well, the people at the IERCC are very professional, and it's super easy to schedule a test and talk to them. Now, I'm going to leave links in the description below so you can see exactly where to go to schedule this test, but it's really simple. Let me just walk you through it real fast. You can get to this test through the Garmin website or the IERCC, and then you select on it, you say you want to do a test, and then you have to fill out some information. They want to know your name and I believe your address and email, but they also want to know information on your device. I believe there's 3 pieces of information you can choose to give them, and on this Mini 2, I did give them 1 piece of information because you have to fill it out. They need to know who you are and what device you have. At the bottom, they also have a place where you can ask a question or give more information. And since I'm out here testing all the time and I've tested with them multiple times, I will use that to say if I'm going to test with only the device, if I'm using the Messenger app on my smartphone, and if I'm going to be in cell service or outside of cell service, can I talk to them, or is it just all messaging? It's really simple to set this up, but you need to give them 3 days. I think it's 72 hours. 72 hours, 3 days, is that correct? I don't know. But the IERCC says to give them 72 hours to respond to you and make sure it's set up correctly. You will then see an email back from them saying it's set up, or in one case, they couldn't do it on the day I wanted, so they scheduled it on another day. Again, the people at the IERCC are great. It's easy to set up, so do it, and it will give you more confidence that when you are in a real life-threatening situation, you'll see how fast they respond and how easy it is to two-way message them.
Okay, I'm about ready to start a test with the IERCC, and it's a test with the Garmin inReach Mini 2. Now I'm going to start the test with my smartphone using the Messenger app, and I'm going to show you both devices and how you can respond to the IERCC when they comment or send messages to make sure everything's okay and it's working correctly. Okay, so now you can see my phone with the Messenger app and also the Mini 2, and we're ready to go. It's 9:58. I think I'll wait just a few more minutes to contact them when I said I would at 10 o'clock. Okay, it's 10 o'clock, so we're going to hit the SOS button right here on the Messenger app. And here it says warning and slide for SOS, so we're going to do that. Now we get the countdown. All right, you can see I have previous messages from the IERCC. This is not my first go around with them. And you can see on the phone it says Messenger 1.9 gives a comment, and emergency response acknowledged your emergency. So you can see what's going on here too. You can see it on the device itself. Now they're saying acknowledge my emergency, and what I want to do is I want to show you how to do it on this, and then I'm going to move over to the Mini 2. And you can see how easy it is to type on this Messenger app or using your smartphone. The first thing I always want to do is let them know that I'm scheduling a test, or that this is a scheduled test. Now that I've done that, the rest of this I'm going to message on this Mini 2. I want to show you how easy or difficult it can be. Now here I'm going to go down and hit reply. It's a little bit tricky because I was actually wanting to do a screenshot, but let's not worry about that since you can see everything on the screen. So I'm going to type message. There were some pre-selected messages, but here I'm going to go ahead and type. Now Garmin's calling me, and I'm going to actually take this call because I think this is from the search and rescue team. So I'm going to show you what it's like. This is Rick. May I help you?
Hi, Richard. This is Spencer with Garmin Response. I was just calling to inform you we received your test S.O.S activation.
Yes, thank you very much. And I sent a message back just saying it was a scheduled test, but I'm also going to do one test on my Mini 2 itself just to see how easy or difficult it is to send a message on the inReach Mini 2. So, yeah, thanks for getting back with me so quick. I have both my Messenger app, and I actually initiated it from the Messenger app, and it's synced to my Mini 2. So, yes, it's coming from the Mini 2.
Okay, and you want to reactivate it through the Mini 2, not the Messenger app?
No, what I'm going to do is just I'm going to send you a message through my Mini 2, the device itself, just to
Okay,
see how easy or hard, and then after that I'll cancel the S.O.S test.
okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay, and yeah, your device seems to be registered properly. You have all your information filled out. Your emergency notes state you have high blood pressure, strokes running in your family. We have your exact location, but yeah, everything's good on our end then. So as soon as you send those messages, if you send a cancel, the test will be complete.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it'll take me a little time to type these messages, this one message out to you on the Mini 2, but yeah, we can drop the call here if you want, and then as soon as I do this, then I'll cancel the S.O.S. But I really appreciate your help and how fast you guys are in responding.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Thank you so much. You have a nice day.
Thank you. You have a great day too. Bye. So now what I'm doing is I just want to go through and show you how challenging it can be to type out a message. And you want to keep these messages as concise as possible. And I might be making too long of a message, but I just want to show you how it works. So I made a mistake and I've got to go hit the back arrow here. It's just a lot more challenging than if you have used the phone itself. If I could, in this situation, I would use my smartphone and the Messenger app. And what happens here, you can then go select it instead of going and doing the whole thing. You can see these words come up. So if I hit OK, well, I didn't want to do that. Oh, you hit OK. Then it puts you over here, and then I can select message. So it makes it easier. This is a message, and there's the word from, so it has some intelligence to it. This is a message from, we'll just go with the Mini 2. Let me get back out of this because I got to type in Mini 2. Or I'm going to say device. And I've misspelled stuff, but I just want to show you I'm going to go actually delete this because it's really a lot more challenging to type on the Mini 2. Once you really get a good feel for how long it takes to do it versus being on the smartphone. Now I'm done with this message, and I'm going to finish the rest of it on my smartphone because this just takes a while. I just wanted you to see this. So you go to the check mark when you're done, you hit that, and then it says send, and then so I'll send this message, and there you go. So the same message I typed in here shows up on the phone. So let's go ahead and finish out this message from my phone. I'm going to wait for one response back to them to see if they do, and then I will cancel the S.O.S. You always have to make sure you cancel your S.O.S. if you do a test. And there you go. That's enough for me. Confirmed. We've received your message, and you're welcome. Have a great day. So I am now going to cancel the S.O.S. You can see right here at the top it says cancel S.O.S. and I could cancel it from the device also, so slide to cancel. So I do that, and then it says sending your request to cancel the S.O.S. S.O.S. will close when confirmation is received. You can see how simple this is. I want to back out of here just so you can see what's going on. It says initiate S.O.S. So I believe it is canceled. All right, I'm taking that as canceled. So that's how easy it is. There'll be links in the description below about how you set up an IERCC test. And that was also a Garmin rep that came on to talk to me. I think it used to be an IERCC rep, but Garmin is now handling those calls. I hope this gives you a lot more comfort about how to schedule a test and what it's like. And it's really not a big deal, but it should also give you more comfort when you're out in the field and maybe you really do have a life-threatening event or emergency for yourself or somebody else.
When you set up your Garmin inReach Mini 2, don't forget to set up the apps. And I'm specifically talking about the Explorer app and the Messenger app. I don't like to rely on my smartphone when I'm out on a long adventure because the battery will die or it might have some technical problems, but you do need to set up those apps. Or let's just say I recommend you set these apps up. Now the Explorer app is what you need to see your course, navigate. Now you can see your course on the Mini 2, but if you want to create the course or navigate with more detail and you want to see maps and things like that, then you need the Explorer app. But the Messenger app is important so that you can message with more convenience. I always have my cell phone with me on any outdoor adventure, so if I'm going to do a lot of messaging, then I can get this out, it's synced to my Garmin inReach Mini 2, and then it's much more convenient for me to type out messages. The other great thing about the Messenger app is, say my wife who doesn't have an inReach device, she can download that Messenger app for free. She doesn't have an inReach device, but she can then be part of group messaging. And it's a lot easier to message when somebody has the Messenger app. Garmin may change things in the future and only have one app, but as it stands right now, in 2024, you need the Explorer app and the Messenger app. It's super simple to set them up. Just go ahead and take care of that.
How can people initiate a message to you if you have an inReach device like the Garmin inReach Mini 2 or the 67i or the Montana 700 750i? This is actually a problem because if they have your information and maybe your inReach email, they think they can initiate a message to you, they can't. I've gone around and around with Garmin about this and I do not like it, but there's only one way to initiate a message to you. Now, if a Garmin user actually sends you a message, then you can reply to them and you can communicate that way. But let's say, for example, I'm out in the mountains and I'm on a long backpacking trip and something happens. Maybe something happens to my dog or the house burns down, whatever it might be. If somebody wants to initiate a message and I have not sent them a message, then there's only one way to do it, and it's through the MapShare link. Now, you got to go to the MapShare link and you have to set it up ahead of time, and it's on the Support.Garmin webpage. Make sure you go into MapShare settings and you say allow map viewers to locate you. Well, you don't have to do that. You can. I probably would if they're family and friends. But the number one thing on it there, it says, and it's a check mark, it says allow map viewers to send you messages. If you don't select that, then they cannot initiate a message to you. So make sure you do that and it's set up correctly. You can put in also other things about your name and description and save those changes. And once you do that, then on the right it says share and it says email. So you click on that, you enter their email. You can say what the subject is, and normally I'll say I'm on a fishing trip or a backpacking trip, whatever it might be, and then I send them that link. Now that link is always good, so if they got that link a year ago and they can find it, they can still see where you're at and they can initiate a message to you. But I always send out another message before a major trip or any trip really, so that the email is right there in front of them and they don't have to scroll through and find it. Once they get this link though, whether it's on their phone or on their computer, then they can click on the link and they can see where you're at, or they can reply to the message and then message you. Now, that's if you sent them a message, but if you haven't sent them a message, then on the screen it says message and then you can initiate the message to them. This is the only way to do it. This is super critical, and I think Garmin needs to make a change to this where somebody can initiate a message to you rather than just having the MapShare link. But at this point, you must do this. So it doesn't matter if it's somebody that's following you on Twitter or something, and you don't care if they can message you. But if it's somebody important to you, make sure they have this link and know how to use it. Let's talk about messaging a little bit today, and I want to talk about how you message on your smartphone with the Messenger app and how you message on the device itself. So let's jump into this and let's start with the Messenger app first. So you can see right now at the top of the screen here on my phone, there's the Explorer app and the Messenger app. So we're going to go into the Messenger app first. There are several ways to message, but first of all, the most important is the S.O.S, and you can message S.O.S teams from there. The other way is through contacts and then check-in. So if I go to check-in real quick, there's several things here, and I've already got these set up, and you do this at the Explorer.Garmin site that you have access to, and you can preset these messages or customize these messages. I've set these up on my website, and you can change it to anything you want, and I can select them here, and I can send it. When I select this, it's going to send this to everybody on that list. See, it didn't even give me a chance to pick them. It just sends them to the people that I have selected. The thing you have to be careful about that is if you have people on your list that don't want to be messaged, then you're going to have maybe some trouble and you're going to cause some conflict because not everybody always wants to be messaged. All right, the next thing is through contacts. If I select contacts and I'm going to pick myself right here and I'm going to pick my phone number. Now you can see I've already done a lot of tests with this, but I can then send a message to myself and I can type in, and I'm going to just put test right here. Test 7, who knows? I've had a lot of tests, so let's see what happens. I'm going to send this right now. It's going to go to me, and I can back out of here. And then I can see when the message goes through, and I can actually go check my messages. And you can see right here, I've got this test that I did with Garmin this morning with the S.O.S test. Actually, it was the IERCC. And then I can see right here under my name, here's the message I sent. And then I could reply to it. Now, it kind of doesn't make sense for me to reply to it because I'm sending it from my phone and replying from my phone, but this is how it works. I've set myself up as a contact so everybody can see how easy it is to do this when I'm out testing these devices. That's how easy it is to message on these devices, and you can see you can do it from your phone, and it's just like texting somebody. Well, let's put this off to the side here for a minute, and let's look at what happens when you message on the Mini 2 itself. There's a few ways to get to messages, and one is if you go up or down arrow on this, you can see your messages right there. There's messages. If I select messages, then right there you can see Richard, my name, I go by Rick, but it says test 7, and I can go in and I could reply right here if I want. That's one way to do it. Another way is to get back out to the main menu and hit this OK button, which then puts you right into the menu. I can send message and I can check in, and if I were to check in here, just like what happened on the Messenger app, there's a check-in 1, check-in 2, check-in 3. If I select any one of these, it's going to send another message to the people on my list. So I don't want to do that because they've already gotten messages about 2 minutes ago. But let's go back up here and see what happens when I send message. And there's multiple options here. If I send message, then I have an option here to type in contact. It wants to know the contact first. So let's go down to myself again. And I'm going to pick my phone number so a check shows up. So if I want to send it to multiple things here or people, I can send it to more than one. So I just wanted to send it to myself. Once you've selected the person, then you need to hit next. Now this is where it gives you the option to type a message in, or you can go down to some of the preset messages. And this is where you set this up in the Support.Garmin website. I've set these up, and some of them are really important to actually, this one here, give me a minute. This is important because if you're busy, then you don't want to reply right then, but you can hit that super fast and then you don't have to type it out. Again, I'd be very conscious and thoughtful about what you put in for messages. It'll make your life a lot easier. Even putting yes and no makes it easier to select these than to go type yes and no out. When I got out of that, then I have to go back and select my name again and hit next. Again, here's where it says type message. So I'm going to hit type message this time. Let's do a really quick message. I'm just going to say test 7. No, let's do test 8. I just did test 7. So I'm going to use the up and down arrow here, and I'm going to go type this out. You can see how cumbersome this is compared to using the Messenger app. But on a long trip, I don't want to use my phone because I lose the battery pretty quick. If you want to put a space in, then you need to select this icon right here. There's your space, and then we're going to go the numbers. All right, if you want to get to the numbers, this bottom button on the right, which actually returns or exits, in this case will go through different things, different characters. And what you're seeing here, it goes back to the letters, capital letters, and then here's the numbers. Now I want to go down to 7, or actually 8. I'm going to now select that so you can see the message says test 8. When you're done with your message, then you need to go and hit this check mark right here. This says you're done. So I hit that. Then you have to hit, it says send right there. So you hit send, and now it has sent that message. There's a message here about poor GPS strength, but it's actually connected to my phone and to the Messenger app. And when you're connected to the Messenger app, it will use Wi-Fi, cellular service, and satellite service depending on where you're at. If you're outside and outside of cell service, it'll send it through the satellites. If you're within Wi-Fi or cell service, it's going to send it to those first. So down at the bottom, it actually says send anyway. All right, I sent it. There it goes. Because I'm in Wi-Fi and cell service, it sent it really quick, or at least should. Let's back out of here. Now I'm going to use the up and down arrow here, and I'm going to go look at messages. And there's test 8 right there. Okay, you can see how easy it is to test on the Messenger app using your phone or the device itself. And I would prefer to type on my phone versus the Mini 2. But this is where it's crucial for you to set up the messages ahead of time, the ones that you can create on the Explore.Garmin site, and then you just select it rather than typing it out. Then it's easier to send messages back and forth on the Mini 2 if you're just selecting the message rather than typing. What I'll do on a long adventure is I'll have something that I can recharge my device, and then I will have my phone off, or I'll have it on battery save mode. Then when I want to use it, I'll either turn it on and I'll send messages, and I'll refer to my Mini 2 for the majority of the time, but if I know I'm going to send a lot of messages, then I want to use my phone versus the Mini 2. All right, it's really that simple. And if you have any questions, because there is more to messaging than just what I've shown you, but you can do most everything with what I've already shown you, and it's not that difficult, but there are some times you'll run into things.
All right, so you have the Garmin inReach Mini 2, or you're thinking about it, and you have other people you're going to go hiking with, and they have other satellite communicators like the ACR Bivy Stick or the Zoleo. So you think you're going to go message them, and you're going to be able to two-way message and maybe even see where they're at, and you think you got it figured out, but you don't. Unless you know that the Garmin inReach satellite communicators have to be the first to initiate the message. Somebody with an ACR Bivy Stick can give me their dedicated phone number, or the Zoleo, or whoever else, and we go out on an adventure. Maybe we're hiking the Colorado Trail up here and we get separated for some reason. Well, all of a sudden they think, hey, I'm going to message Rick and we're going to see where he's at or where we're going to meet up, and they send me a message, and guess what? I'll never get that message. I've talked to Garmin about this, and I don't know exactly why this is the case, but if you're going to communicate between satellite communicators with somebody who has a Garmin, that person that has the Garmin, in this case the Garmin inReach Mini 2, they have to initiate that first message. Why? I don't know, and I want Garmin to fix it, but I'm just telling you this is the case. I've tested it myself, and I've talked to Garmin a lot about this. So when you go out with somebody else that has a different satellite communicator, then always, for every 24 hours, if you're out for a whole 5 days, every day you wake up, initiate a message to that ACR Bivy Stick user or the Zoleo user, because they will not be able to communicate after some point. I've tested this out with somebody else who had an ACR Bivy Stick, and they were able to continue messaging me for more than 24 hours, but don't take that risk. Because I've had this happen where I had to initiate messages every 24 or 48 hours, but there is some period of time that link or whatever it is between a Garmin and an ACR or a Zoleo will go away, and that Garmin user will then need to reinitiate the message. Again, I don't know why Garmin does this, and I do hope they fix this, but when you go out and you're in the situation with other satellite communicator manufacturers, just initiate the message first. Make sure everybody understands that's the situation, but you have to initiate that message. I hope you're getting something out of all of this, because it's easy to use these, but there's all these little things that you really need to be ready for and be prepared for. But the only way to figure this out is to go test your device thoroughly, or listen to me. You're in the field with somebody else and they've got a Garmin or whatever it might be, but I'm going to specifically talk about inReach devices, and you want to share your location with them or them with you. There's a way to do that. I'm bringing this up because Mike from Mike and Rick Outdoors, we met up here to go camping in Colorado, and I got to the campsite first. We had no cell service, so we had to rely on me sending him my location and then him tracking or navigating to it. Well, he got lost, and I needed him to share his location with me because I didn't know how to tell him how to get to where I was at because he went the wrong direction. Well, here's how you share your location with somebody.
It's real simple. You've got these arrows on the left side of the Mini 2. I'm just going to arrow down to navigation, and I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to arrow down 2 times to get to the coordinates. Okay, once the coordinates show up, then see these little 3 slash marks or dots at the top where the OK button is. You hit that. Now you can arrow down one and share with. Now my contacts show up, so I'm going to arrow down to my name, and I'm going to pick my phone number, my email, and my inReach email. And you just hit OK each time. Instead of arrowing to the top, I should be arrow to the bottom, hit next, and then I can hit the check mark. See, it's already on the check mark, and it gives information about my speed and altitude and all that. Here's the information, and now I just hit send. If you get a signal like this, sometimes maybe you don't have a clear view of the sky, but if you arrow down, it says wait or send anyway. So I'm going to send anyway, and there it goes.
So I'm going to show you on the Explorer app. So if I select that, and there's my location. If I select on that icon right there, then it shows the date here, and it says go, and then a couple lines below that, it says send location. Now it asks if who I want to send it to. So I'm going to say myself. There's a message I could put down here. Let's put test 1. This little icon right here, this little arrow, that's where you hit that and it sends it. So let's see if I get that message. Okay, so it worked fine. And if I were to send this message to Mike when we were on that trip, and I did, but more importantly, if he would have done the same thing back to me, I could have seen where he was at and I could have told him he was on the wrong road. I hope that was helpful. Again, make sure you get out here and test your device because there's a lot to learn. And even though the Mini 2 is more simple than the GPS Map 67i, you really need to test your device.
All right, we've touched on MapShare a little bit when we were talking about tracking, but I want to go back into it here. You've got your new device, you've got it set up, you've selected your subscription plan, but now you got to go through and set everything else up. Don't forget to set up MapShare, and I'm going to tell you why real quick here, and that is actually because if you want other people to initiate a message with you, you have to go through MapShare, or they do. If you send a message to somebody first, then you can message back and forth. If you don't send a message, then they have to go through the MapShare link in order to initiate the message. And this can be a problem if you've left on an adventure, you haven't sent a message, and something happens back at home. So make sure you set this up. Now on the Support.Garmin site, there is a MapShare page, and there's several different things you need to set up. The first thing is you're going to have a MapShare link, and you can edit it to make it what you want. Then there's the MapShare settings, and when you go into this here, there's going to be several things that you can do. You can give your name, you can put in a description, and I always do this so people know that it's a current MapShare link. Now, if you send somebody a MapShare link and it's been a year ago, they can still get access to it and they can still see where you're at and message you. But there's an option to put in a password, but I don't put this in because I only share this with my family and friends that I trust. Down at the bottom, there's 3 different check marks. One is allow map viewers to send you a message. That is critical. Now, I'm just going to say here, if you're sharing your location with Twitter or Instagram or X or something like that, then you may want to uncheck this because you don't want people messaging you. There's another one here that says allow map viewers to locate you and then show waypoints created in the field on MapShare. My point right here is make sure that you select this top check mark here, allow map viewers to send you messages for those people that you want to be able to message and have them reply to you, or you want them to be able to initiate a message. So make sure you take care of this, save your changes. Then the other thing is the MapShare data. Now this one here is really about filtering data, and what you can do is you can select different trails that you've been on, and then you can also say I want to just let people see the trails that I'm going to go on or the adventure I'm going on this week or today or tomorrow. You don't have to do this, and I actually rarely use this, but it does help so that people are looking at your MapShare information. Maybe they're not confused by so much data and there's only one trail or one adventure that shows up. The next thing is to hit the share button and then select email. This is where you actually put in the person's email address, and you can put a little more information about the message or where you're going, and then just hit send, and then they're going to get a link, and it could be on their email, on their computer, or on their phone. Either way it works, and they can then click on that link when you send it to them. They can see where you're at, or they can reply and message you. All right, that's all there is to it. Make sure you set this up. And the most critical part is hitting that check mark so they can initiate a message if you didn't send them a message to start with.
I've come out here today to trail in Colorado, and I'm testing the Garmin inReach Mini 2 to see how well it tracks back when I got out of the vehicle and all I did was just turn it on. There's 2 ways you can get information on a TracBack if you're ever lost. One is Garmin puts in hidden tracks so you can find your way back to safety, even if you didn't do anything like start tracking. But if you start tracking, which is a different video, you'll get a lot more detail on your track back. Again, this morning what I did is I got out of my truck, I just turned it on, I didn't start tracking, and I came out here about 30 minutes where I'm doing these videos. So let's see what happens if I were actually lost right now, and can I track back to safety? You can see I've got my dog Ranger out here today. He's helping me out, and I'm going to do my best to give you some shots of what it really looks like. What you do here is you go to menu, and if I want to track back, I can go down to navigate, and there's a different way to do it too, if just in case you want to know, instead of going to the menu. If I go back out, if I arrow down with this key here on the left, you can see there's tracking is off and there's navigation right here. So you can see there's two ways to get to navigation. What I always do is I just hit the menu button and then I go on down to navigation. You can see it says navigate instead of navigation. When I select that, you can see there's waypoints and TracBack. Now what I want to do is I want to go to TracBack. All right, I'll select TracBack and it gives me a message here, navigate along. Well, there you saw it, was a very quick message. Let me go back, I want to see that message real quick. Well, the message is gone, but it gives several points here, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Now again, I want to remind you that it only keeps these hidden tracks for 24 hours. Now if I hit this right here, this button, OK button, now there's several points, and I started my tracking today at 7:09. So you can see here 39 feet away there was a track set down, and I don't want that because I can see 39 feet away. What I want to do is I want to go down to 7:09. Now remember that it sets a hidden track every 10 minutes, and you should keep track of your time of when you actually started your adventure. And you can see there's arrows here pointing basically the direction. It says I started today at 7:09, which is true, and it's 0.53 miles away. And it's basically straight ahead of me. So now if I hit on OK, it says follow path or straight line. Now as much as I can here, I want to follow the path, so I'm going to select this, and now it says loading course. Start tracking, yes, no, so I want to go to yes. When I select yes, now you can see the points, and it's actually a straight line. I want to show you real quick, you can see your tracks on the map here. And then if you hit the up and down arrow, you can see different information. I can see it's 0.6 miles away. I can see the compass, and I can see my waypoint, my northing and westing, and my elevation. It's really this simple, and you can see the tracks right here. You do get a little more information sometimes when you start tracking, but I did not start tracking, and I went by the waypoints. When I start following this back, it may give me an on or off course. I'm going to test this really quick, and it may be a jumpy video as I'm walking, but I want you to see what it sounds like and looks like when you get an on and off course alert. All right, the trail is that way, but we are going to walk over here towards the sun, and let's see what happens. And as best I can, I will hold this steady so you can see what happens when I go off course. All right. You can see that it says off course, and there was an audible alert. It took about 150 feet or so, but I want to show you that I started over there somewhere by those trees. Let's see if I get an on course alert now. I'm back to my starting point. Now I'm going to follow this track, and I'm going to see if I get the on course alert. All right, it didn't give me the on course, but I've got a video that shows how it goes off course and on course. You can check out that video right here and in the description below to see how it works. But you will get a visual and audible on and off course alert as you're tracking back. Once you're finished with your track back and you're back to safety, you just hit the OK button and it says stop navigation. Once I stop navigation, then it has my arrow on the screen and I can back out of this and we're all good to go. You actually get a lot of information when you don't start tracking and you just turn on your device. As you could see from that test, I had multiple waypoints to pick from and I could track back. Now the arrow to go back was a straight line, but when I was going off course, it was actually showing the little dots or tracks where I was on or off course. This Mini 2 is a really powerful device, and when you sync it with your smartphone, it's even better. But personally, I like to know how to use the Mini 2 by itself in case I lose a battery on my smartphone or there's a technical problem. Well, that's how easy it is to track back if you're ever lost. But the next video I'm going to show you, if you start tracking, it shows you different things, and it's not just a waypoint every 10 minutes. Plus, you can save your course, and it's there if you're on a week-long hiking trip. You can see exactly where you went, and you don't lose your course. The hidden tracks that the Mini 2 puts down will go away in 24 hours. I've come out here today, and when I got out of my truck, I turned on my satellite communicator, the Garmin inReach Mini 2, and I started tracking. Yesterday's test with the TracBack was without starting tracking. I just got out of my vehicle and started hiking. Today I started tracking, and you can see the difference there. It laid down a very detailed track as I was walking up here. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stop tracking and I'm going to track back. I'm going to hit the OK button. And there's another way. I always want to show you guys this. If you hit this up or down arrow, then it will go over here, and I'm in the middle of tracking. I just want to show you there's some things you can do on that side. So we're going to get back out of this, and we're going to hit the menu button. And let's go down here. See, it says stop tracking because I have tracked. When I hit stop tracking, it says save discard. So in this situation here, I'm going to hit save. Now it's saving it. Now I want to track back. So how do I track back? So I had stopped tracking, and now if I go to navigation and I click on it, it says waypoints and track back. So I'm going to hit track back. So it shows me the time frames from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. this morning. I'm going to select that. And then here it says today, 7:20, 13 or 14 feet away. That's not what I want. I want to go down to the first one today, which is 0.34 miles away. All right, so I'm going to select this point right now. It says follow path or straight line. Well, I don't want a straight line. I want to follow the path. Loading course. Start tracking. Well, sure, I always like to track, so I am going to say yes in this case. I'm going to track back. Okay, it's a little hard to tell here, but if you hit this OK button, these three dots at the top, it'll zoom out. Now, I came in on a pretty straight line, but this is not a straight line navigation, but I want to pan out for a little bit. So I'm going to hit this plus and negative here. So I want to zoom out to show you how I came in. So I hope you can see it. There's an icon there where I started, and it wasn't a straight line. And compared to yesterday, it didn't give me this information. When you start tracking, it'll give you a lot of detail of where you actually came in. And if I walked around a rock or a river or some obstacle, it would show me exactly where I went. This is why when I'm using my Garmin inReach Mini 2, I always start tracking, because this gives me so much more information about how I came into where I hiked or for whatever adventure, whether it's fishing, hunting, whatever it is. So now I can track back, and it will give me an on and off course alert if I go off of this track. All right, I just wanted you to see that this morning about how you get such great detail when you start tracking versus if you don't start tracking. Again, if you don't start tracking, then Garmin's inReach Mini 2 will put hidden tracks down every 10 minutes, and those tracks disappear after 24 hours. I don't like to mess with that and have the possibility of losing tracks, especially when I'm out for more than a day. So I'm always going to start tracking. I'm going to get this higher detail, and then I can save the track and it'll be there forever. If you want to see more about the on and off course alerts, there'll be a video here and in the description below, and I show a lot more detail about how it gives you an audible and visual alert when you go off course and then when you go back on course.
Let's talk about tracks real quick that show up on your device sometimes, or your smartphone if you're using the Explorer app. This happens to me all the time because I'm out testing my devices in the same place, and so I'll get these tracks that show up over and over, and it's from a previous test. The first thing you can do is go onto the Support.Garmin page, and it's the map link at the top, and then you'll see with the map, you'll see waypoints, tracks, routes, activities, courses, and unorganized. I always find that it helps me to either turn off the tracks and the activities or to delete them. Once you've done that, then the next thing you need to do is to go to your device if you're still having tracks that show up. I've talked to Garmin about this a lot, and one thing that they always tell me and that I've found out is you may have to reset your device back to the factory settings. So let's look at this real quick on exactly how you would do this. You go into the menu and then you go to settings. Now I go up arrow rather than going through everything with the down arrow. I just go up arrow, gets to settings, and then go up arrow again, and you get to system. Now once you're in system, then I can go up arrow, the fastest way to get to it, and there's about software and reset device. device. Now this is where you can reset default settings, and you can delete data and reset settings. I found that this bottom one where you delete the data and reset settings is the best for me. And this is taking care of the problem every time. Don't worry about doing this, because if you have your data on your Support.Garmin page and your collections and your routes that you created, when you set this back up again, it's going to sync it and you'll have all that information. So don't worry about losing it. What happens is you'll lose everything on the device, but because you have it all on the Support.Garmin page, you will get it back once synced. So there you have it. It's not a common problem that most of you will see, but if you ever do see it, those are the few ways to clean those tracks up so they won't be overlapping on your next outdoor adventure when you go back to the same place.
All right, I'm out here at Spruce Mountain today, and I want to show you how to navigate, and there's several ways to do it. One way to do this is if you download a trail off of some app like AllTrails, or I could create the trail at home. Another thing is I can actually create a course right here and then start navigating. So let me show you how to do that. All right, the first thing I like to do is to go into my Explorer app. Now I'm out here at Spruce Mountain, so I'm going to go over here, and you can see there's a lot of trails here at Spruce Mountain. So if I want to create this course and navigate, I'm going to hit the plus at the top left. Now you can see there's create waypoint, create course, and import GPX file. I want to create course. Now there's nothing on the screen here, right? The first thing I want to do, and I know I'm in this location right over here, is I want to put a few points down to get over here and hike this course. So I'm going to put a point down on a trail close by me and see there's a dot that shows up. Now in this case, I think I want to go up here and I want to do this trail here up the very top, and I want to follow a particular path because it'll take me in the shortest path. So if I click somewhere out here, it may take me to the left, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to put a point over here. See that trail right there? It's already put a magenta line down. And then I'm going to add another point up here because I want to go clockwise in this situation. And then I'm going to put another one over here farther to that side. And then I'm going to put another one here because I'm helping myself decide which way I'm going to go. And then I'm going to put one back to where my truck is at or close by it. So you can see it came back and it showed a different way. Now if I wanted to go this other way, I probably should have put a point down here, but it took me the fastest way. All right, when I'm done, then I hit save, and now you can see the course, and then I can click on this date here and give it a name if I want to. So it says September 14th, 2024. Let's go ahead and keep that. I'm going to select the name, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the time, and I'm going to say test 2. So you can see how easy it was there to type in and rename this course. Now I hit OK, and I'm ready to go. Now I believe I can share this if I want. I could hit this up arrow right here, and I can share it with anybody I want to. But in this case, I'm just going to hit go. So it shows my blue triangle where I'm at, and I would need to turn here. And see, when I turn my phone, then it points in the direction of the trail. Now there's other things that are going on here I want to just point out. It says select navigation device. So I have my inReach Mini 2 and my Phoenix 7X Solar. I'm going to pick the Mini 2. It says enable tracking, and I always track. Now it's syncing the course to my inReach Mini 2. Okay, so it has synced, and it says additional devices detected. It's seen my Garmin watch. I could skip this, or I can start all. I like to be able to see my course on the watch also, so we're going to start all. And now I'm ready to go. You can see it says stop right here, so I am currently navigating. And if I move over here to the course, you can see my triangle is going to change, and it will at some point, or it'll turn in that correct direction. But when I'm hiking, then in front of me, the line will be magenta, and where I have come from behind me will be cyan or a light blue. Okay, and on the Mini 2 itself, you can see that line shows up there on the screen, and I can see it navigate from here. I can't create the course from here, but once a course is created either at home on the Support.Garmin page or on my phone, then I can navigate and I can see the course right here. I just want to remind everybody that the best way to actually navigate and create a course, or say a route, is a course, not a route. Do not do the route. You're limited to 200 points, and a course is much more simple to create, and you're not limited to those 200 points. All right, I'm actually not going to navigate today because I've got more videos to do, but I've done this a lot. If you want to see some other navigation that I've done in the past, and I'll have those in the description below.
Let's talk about creating a route, and you can create a route or a course on the the Support.Garmin page, and I've done that before, but I prefer to do it on my phone. And I don't like to create a route. And in fact, Garmin says don't use route anymore, use courses. It's the newer method, and it gives me better results. So let's take a look at my phone real quick, and I'm not going to use the Messenger app, which is here. I'm going to use the Explorer app. So let's go into that. The first thing I want to do is I want to go into my devices, and I want to double check to make sure the correct device is active and synced. Now, once that happens, I can go back to the map page. Now, let's say I want to create a course. So I'm going to go over here to a trail close by my house. I'm going to actually hit this plus arrow at the top, and it says create course. It says create waypoint, create course, and import GPX file. Now, when I create course, then I can start placing points. Let's just say I'm going to start over here, which the trailhead is roughly here. There's a point right there. Now I'm going to place a second point. Now look, it created that course. And this is what I love about courses. You don't have to create waypoints. You just create the course. You just put in 2 points and it'll create a course for you. But let's say I wanted to take a different route. Instead of going that shortest route, let's go put in a couple more points. And let's say I want to go this long route over by the road. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit cancel right here, and it allows me to save or discard. So I'm going to hit discard. Now I'm going to hit plus again, and I'm going to hit create course. And I'm going to select the first point, and this time I want to go the long way. So I'm going to put a few points around here so that I go this way all the way around the highway. And let's say I want to end way out there to where there's a lookout. You can see what happens because it used the waypoints I put down, but then it just followed the fastest route out there. Now, when you hit save here, it goes to another page, and you can actually click on this and you can name it something different. I'm just going to name it test 1, but it has the date. So if you want to have a date in there to help you, put whatever you want in. Super easy to type that in. I'm going to hit OK. So now it says test 1. Now at this point, all you have to do is hit go and go on your hike. This is what I love about creating the course this way, is when you're out in the mountains, you can create a course. And if you don't have the course created and you're someplace new, you can do this here rather than having to be at home and creating it on the Explorer.Garmin page. Now, if you want to delete this, you just select the course, and then you can select then the name. And then there's these 3 buttons at the top. You can select that, and it says rename, edit color, and at the bottom here it says delete. And it wants to confirm that I'm going to delete it, and so now it's gone. You can see how easy it is to create a course and why I like it so much. I've used routes in the past, and you have to put in these waypoints to describe the trail. And I was going and describing the Colorado Trail that goes from Denver to Durango, and they have like 25 segments. And it's a pain in the butt because you can only have 200 points in a route. And so all these long trails, I was running out of points, and so I'd have to minimize how many waypoints I put down. That is not the case with a course, and it's so much easier to create the course on the Explorer app. And I'm just saying, try it out. You'll love it. It's way better than using routes. What if you want to download a trail from something like Gaia or AllTrails or one of the other apps or websites? Well, I'm going to show you how to use AllTrails and download a trail that then can be uploaded to your Garmin inReach Mini 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go search for a trail, and I want to look for one up by Evergreen called Elk Meadow. So let's type this in. You can go to the map also and look for a trail in the area you're going to, but if you know the name, you can type it in. So I'm going to type in Elk Meadow Trail, and this one's in Oregon. That's not where I want. Elk Meadow Park is what I want, and it's in Colorado. Now there's a map right here, and I'm going to click on the map because what I want to show you is there's multiple trails. Now the trailhead is right here, and I'm going to have screenshots of all this, but there's 14 different trails here, and there's one that goes all the way around the loop, and if I hit the right arrow, I can look at all of these different trails. And I've taken several of these, but the one I really like here is Founders, Meadow View, and Sleepy South Trail Loop. It actually says one of them is closed, but I'm still going to show you how to do this. So here's the trail. Over on the left, it says photos, directions, and more. So I'm going to click on the 3 dots where it says more, or you just hover over it, and it says download route. So I'm going to hit download route. Here's where you got to be a little careful, and you got to test this. It says GPX track. When I loaded the GPX track into Garmin, it loaded it under route. I don't like route, so let's try something else. What I found that worked better for me was the Google Earth KMZ. So I clicked that, you hit OK, and now it's downloaded. Now I need to make sure I know where it's at on my computer, and then I can upload it to the Garmin Explorer or the Support.Garmin site. All right, I've saved that trail to a location on my hard drive. Now I'm going to go to the Support.Garmin site, and at the top right it says download or import data, and you can import lines as tracks or import lines as routes. The GPX goes in as a route. I don't like that, and it actually says right here under import lines as tracks, it says tracks are the most common choice. So when I hit import as tracks, it says add to an existing collection, or you can add it to a new collection. So I'm going to hit add to a new collection, and it allows me to put a name in. So I'm just going to call this Elk Meadow Test. I'm going to say test 1. I'm going to hit next, and then it says drag a single file here. So let's go do that. Dragging it in, it now says import there. It says a 4.7 kilobit file. I believe that's what that means, one track. And then I hit import. Now it's thinking, and now the track shows up. Now it shows up as a lot of different points, and then you still have to sync this. So you got to be careful when you pull this in. If you want to see it on your device, then you have to sync it. Now when I go in and look at this closer in, there are these different waypoints, and it doesn't line up exactly on the trail, but it'll get you close enough. To me, this feels like a route more than a course, and I would rather actually know where I'm going to go out there with my Mini 2 with it synced to the Explorer app, and I would rather create this course on my phone than this way. I don't like it this way, but I'm just showing you how you would import a course if you want to. Because right now what I could do is I could open up my Explorer app on my phone. I could put these points in to describe this trail, put about 3 points, 4 points in. I would get the same thing, and it would look vastly different. And in fact, I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. To wrap up this one part about importing the course, that's all you do. You're importing the tracks, and you have to test and make sure you know what one works for you. I found the Google Earth KMZ works best. If you have any comments or advice on what works best for you, please leave that below. But now that I've shown you how to import this, and remember, you have to sync your device for this to show up on your Mini 2. But let's look at this on the Explorer app, and I'll show you how simple this is. The first thing I've got to do is I've got to go find Elk Meadow Trail. It's up by Evergreen on the west side of Denver. And I'm going to zoom in here. I know where Elk Meadow's at, and in fact, it's right here. And you can see this course that I just put in on the Explorer.Garmin page, where I imported from AllTrails. I'm going to hit the plus icon at the top. Then I'm going to hit create course. Now I know the trailhead's over here. I've been here several times. So I'm going to hit a point here, and I'm going to go put some points out here to describe the course that I want to take. Because there's other trails, and it'll send you different places. So I'm going to keep putting these points in around here. I know I want to go on this longer loop, and then I want to go back to the beginning point. I'm going to just put a point close to the end. Well, see, I actually hit a point, and it got rid of that point at the trailhead. So when that happens, I would just say delete it, cancel, and start over. So let's cancel this and discard. Now we're going to hit the plus icon again. We're going to create course. So let's do this one more time. Here's the trailhead. I'm going to put fewer points around here this time, and then I'll get close to the trailhead, and then you can see it finishes and almost puts a whole loop in, and then I'm going to save. Now when I save, if you click on the date here, then I can put in my own name that I want, and I'm going to put test 2. Now I can save that, and now the trail is saved. And I can go out there and hike it. I can hit go, and it'll take me right around that trail. If I want to delete this, hit these top 3 buttons at the right, at the top, and then you can hit delete. And then it wants to confirm, and then you delete. The thing about that is you just saw, it's so much more simple to go put your trail in with the Explorer app. Again, I want to show you. Hit that plus, create a course, put a few points down, and I'm going to pick a different way back this time, and there you have it. It's so simple. Courses are the best thing ever. It's so much easier to do it on the phone versus on the Support.Garmin site. All right, I gave you a little more information than I meant to. I showed you how to import a course from AllTrails into Support.Garmin. There's more to it, and there's different file types that you can import, but just play with it and check it out. But I would highly recommend that you create the course on the Explorer app on your phone rather than on the Support.Garmin site. Garmin owns both of them, so it's no big deal. I think it's just newer technology, a better way to do things when you can create that course. It's so much easier, and it looks better, and it follows the trail exactly.
All right, there's Ranger. He's hanging out with me today. I think he's done. He wants to go home and take a nap. If you want to look at weather and get the weather forecast, the way to do it is on the Messenger app. I'm going to select it. I'm already on the weather right here. Now it says update forecast. Now hang with me a little bit because I'm going to show you how to do it on the Mini 2 itself, but there's two ways to do it. I'm going to update forecast, and it says right now forecast basic. And when you have the Expedition plan, I think this is unlimited, I believe. I'm going to show the cost on the weather when you get forecast based on what subscription you have. But I want to pick something different. I want to pick extended. So now it shows up forecast type extended. Get forecast. All right, now it says sending requests, and we're going to wait for a few minutes. It says waiting for response. It was very quick. Well, there it goes. The reason I've got this so fast is because I'm in cell service right here. If I were outside of cell service, it would take maybe 2 to 5 minutes. Now you can see here that it goes every 2 hours, and it goes out about 3 days on the extended. Now this is a difference. On the basic, it only goes out maybe a day and a half on this 2 hour. On the extended, it goes out about 3.5 days. Then down here you can see today, tomorrow, and it goes out about 7 days. Yeah, it goes out to Saturday. And if I were to click on Saturday, it doesn't give me any additional information. But if I were to click on tomorrow, it gives me more information, and I can look every 2 hours. And let's see, is there anything else? If I click on here, it really doesn't give me any more information. So you can see that it gives the high and the low, and it gives wind speed. So tomorrow it's saying at 1 a.m. it's 9 miles an hour out of the south, and it's going to be 55 degrees at 1 a.m. All right. I don't know if that's enough weather for you, but that's what you get. Let's look at the device real quick. Okay, I just want to show you real quick the way you get to weather is by these up and down arrows. So if I down arrow in this case, I can get down to weather right there. When I select weather, you can see it's 60 degrees at my location, 76 for a high, 46 for a low, 0% chance of rain or precipitation. And then it says the winds 3 miles an hour out of the southwest. It shows some gusting, but it's not. It's very calm here right now. If I click on these 3 buttons at the top of the OK button, what happens? It says update and change location. Now I have done this in the past, and I'll have that video in the description below, but if I want to update, I can select it here, and you can see the basic and extended. I can also go down to marine basic and marine extended, but here you got to be careful. If you're going to pick marine, you better put yourself out in a body of water, and it's hard to do on this device. So what I've done is I've gone out and, for an example, gone out to the Gulf of Mexico, and it has to be a large body of water. It can't be a small lake. I've gone out there, I've put a waypoint out there, and then I was able to select it. But you have to select something in a large body of water. I'm not going to update this right now. I just wanted you to see it. But here, when I hit the down arrow, it's letting me see different things. It's letting me see Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and it goes all the way up to Saturday. It should. And if I go back up to today, let's click on today, and it then gives me every 2 hours. So I can arrow down and look at what it's going to be like today at 3 p.m. and it's going to be 76 degrees, sunny with 0% chance of precipitation. Can I get any more information? And I can. See, I hit the OK button, and it says Saturday 3 p.m. clear, 76 degrees, wind at southeast, out of the southeast at 5 miles per hour. If I hit OK again, do I get any more information? No, I do not. Now when I click down arrow again, it says precipitation and precipitation type. All right, so you can see it gives you a decent amount of information. It's not perfect, but it gives you quite a bit. Like anything, get out here and test your device to make sure you understand it before you get out on your adventure. Let's talk real quick about all the ways you can get help with your Garmin inReach devices. Well, one way is to contact Garmin. You can call them or chat with them. Another way is you can leave a message with me, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. And sometimes then I go to Garmin and call them up and say, hey, what's up? But there's a better way, and that is to go to Support.Garmin. The Garmin technicians are using Support.Garmin to answer your questions. That's where they start. I've contacted Garmin enough that now I know I'm going to check Support.Garmin before I contact them, because sometimes they'll even ask. They'll say, hey, did you go to Support.Garmin? I'm like, heck yes, I did. But what's great is you go on there and you can type in your device. So in my case, I'm using the Mini 2. I type that in and then I can put in all kinds of things such as messaging, navigating, sound, TracBack, whatever it might be. It will give me a lot of information. It will give me articles or even things from the manual, and you'll be surprised at what you can learn and how much time it will save Garmin because you're not calling and talking to them. Now, maybe you just want to call and talk to Garmin because you're lonely, I don't know, but I would just highly recommend go to Support.Garmin first if you have any questions. I would even say before you ask me a question, start getting used to searching for the answer yourself. I'm always willing to help, and I like to answer within 24 hours and faster. But as I get more subscribers and people watching, there's going to be a lot more people asking questions, and I may have to be more careful about exactly how I answer those questions. So check it out, do yourself a favor, learn how to look for the answers yourself, and if you still need help, then call Garmin, chat with them, or contact me. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this Garmin inReach mini tutorial. I really have done my very best to cover everything you can imagine so that when you go out on your adventure, you're gonna know how to handle your device and get some help if you're ever in a life-threatening situation. But beyond that, if you're not in a life-threatening situation, I hope you feel comfortable about how to track back, how to message, how to navigate. Because the Garmin inReach Mini 2 can really help make your adventure a lot more enjoyable, and I never thought I would like them as much as I do. I actually love being on a trail by myself or with a small group of friends, but I do like having technology when it makes my life easier and things more convenient. If you want to know more about the Garmin inReach Mini 2, check out the playlist here and in the description below, because I cover everything in small pieces. And as I've done here today in this tutorial, I've broken it all down, but you'll see in that playlist that it's all in short little chunks, maybe 2, 3, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you still have questions, leave a comment below or contact Garmin or chat with Garmin or look up Support.Garmin for your answers, because these devices are great, but you really need to know how to use them. Thanks for joining me out here on this tutorial at Outdoor Emergency Tech, and I'll see you back out here in Colorado in the next video.